I woke up bright and early just for the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. The Medicare podcast with some assembly required. His middle name was plucked from the Oklahoma City telephone directory Medicare expert, Doug Jones.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another thrill-packed, exciting episode of the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. I am so happy to have you joining us today. I am your Medicare expert, Doug Jones, and I am here to help you feel really, really good about your impending encounter with Medicare, assuming you have an impending encounter with Medicare in your future. I'm just going to make that assumption, and the way that I make people ready for that encounter, the way that I help them prepare for a successful encounter with Medicare is to encourage them to purchase my book, Medicare for the Lazy Man. The current edition is 2024. It is waiting on the shelves at barnesandnoble.com and on the shelves at amazon.com. If you go to either of those websites, you're going to be able to reach up and pluck your copy off of that shelf. If you go to Amazon.com, you're going to find 4 editions that you'll have to choose from. One is the Audible version, in which the book is read to you and the information washes over you. You don't have to do a darn thing. You can just lay back and let that process happen. The next item would be the Kindle version, where the book is downloaded to your Kindle reader almost instantaneously. This is a very reasonable cost item. You can also purchase the paperback book, which is often the most popular. Most people go after the paperback. That's a traditional way to read a book, and people feel comfortable with that. And then, of course, reserved for only the hoi polloi, only the big spenders, for only the most successful among my clientele would be the hardcover version of Medicare for the Lazy Man 2024. Now, that's a highly priced item, but I don't make any additional money from that. It's all going to Amazon's publishing house to assemble a crackerjack item that's going to impress all of your friends and relatives when they come to visit. That's Medicare for the Lazy Man 2024, the hardcover version. It's suitable for gifting as well. In any event, once you've read through Medicare for the Lazy Man, you're going to have an understanding of Medicare that will probably surpass that of anybody you know. You will be on the verge of becoming a Medicare expert, and you will be able to also find my contact information within the book. I welcome people who reach out to me and ask me questions or ask me to act as their insurance agent. I am pleased to do that. And frankly, if you purchase an insurance product that I've recommended to you, the insurance company will throw me a couple of bucks every once in a while, and it's just enough to provide snacks, or desserts after dinner. So that's why I do what I do, because there is some compensation involved. But more importantly, I thrive on the adulation of those who have thanked me for helping them get through Medicare successfully. So I hope you'll be one of those people. And one of those people is not Randy Carson, because he got through Medicare before I ever met him. But he did a fine job. He and his wife put their thinking caps on and came up with an excellent Medicare supplement plan. I couldn't have done it any better myself. Introducing Randy Carson. Hello, Randy Carson.
Mr. Jones, how are you this fine morning?
Well, I think I'm going to be okay. So I appreciate you asking, and keep it up, because one day if you get a different answer, you'll know to call the constabulary. I hope that doesn't happen.
I have to admit, Doug, that I did not have anything to do with researching out my Medicare supplement plan. My wife, I said, "Hey, Margaret, I need to get some Medicare. Here you go."
Yeah. Well, if she weren't the highly intelligent professional woman that she is, you might have wound up with a Medicare Advantage plan, and we would be having an entirely different conversation today. But she
Well,
picked out for
I
you.
wouldn't be talking to you probably because ultimately, as I've got trapped in the COVID world,
Oh,
I had one of those that had ticked up to about $265,000, and if I would have had Medicare Advantage, probably they would have paid about $65 of that.
you'd still be washing dishes in the hospital cafeteria. But
Yeah,
uh, but
yeah.
Margaret did a wonderful job getting you a fantastic Medicare supplement. And I only wish that all people out there knew what Margaret intuitively knew and make the right decision. But there are a lot of people out there that need help, and I can't get to all of them. So that's going to be some of our content for today. I did not finish talking about our clientele or potential clientele that have asked for my help, and I'm going to be doing some of that today. But first things first, Randy, we've got to have our Medicare Advantage Minute, and you're in charge of what we do for that, right?
Yes, I am. It's one of my highly ranked responsibilities. When I got in this job, Doug gave me a list of stuff I had to do, and this was one of them, picking out the Medicare Advantage Minute. I do it, I really start doing it the night before, thinking about it, dreaming about it, and sometimes it's a nightmare. But on most times when you're talking about Medicare Advantage, it is a nightmare, but we'll go on with that later. But anyway, here it is. Are you ready for your number?
I'm ready. I've got my pen all sharpened. No, no, that would be my pencil. I have my pen refilled with ink, and I'm ready to go.
Cool. Well, we are going to go with a number that has a very special meaning in computer world.
Oh boy.
We're going to go with lucky number 16.
Now, what is the meaning in the computer world that number 16 has?
It's an even power of two. And if you think about computers, the basic concept of a computer is they are switches.
Yep,
And
on,
ultimately,
off.
a switch is either on or it's off. And if you put a bank of switches together and you look at it as a group of switches instead of just one, you come up with the power of two, which in most computer world is 16 when it started out. However, in today's world, because we have much more memory and much faster processors, the bottom line fancy Dan number that people want to pay attention to now is 64, which is another power of two, just more of them.
Yeah, a lot of more of them. Holy crap. I can't get past that guy that's behind you. It looks like he's sticking his hand into your ear. Uh, Randy's sitting in an Irish pub, and there's somebody stapling Randy's dollar bill. He probably took that dollar bill out of the treasury of the Medicare for the Lazy Man, uh,
I did. I
and
did.
it's
You
now.
wouldn't you wouldn't believe how much Doug grouches when I travel around the world looking to acquire new real estate for Medicare for the lazy man.
He always stops off in these expensive places. But here is number 16. This is the article that Randy has picked out for us to celebrate our segment entitled Medicare Advantage Minute. So, the title of this article, the headline on this article is Need a Good Medicare Advantage Plan? They're tough to find for poorer Americans. Uh, People in poor countries are less likely to have access to high quality Medicare Advantage plans. Ooh, and it says counties. So I should read that again. People in poor counties are less likely to have access to high quality Medicare Advantage plans, as if there is a high quality Medicare Advantage plan. Disadvantaged counties are more likely to have plans with low ratings, less likely to have plans with high ratings. And the rating system could be steering resources away from regions that are most in need, researchers said. So this was in July, this article was written, and it says Medicare Advantage plans are touted as a great alternative to traditional Medicare, offering oldsters. No, that's not right. I don't want to say seniors. Offering Medicare, offering the silver-headed crew. Oh, no, that was just a to make fun of Randy. He doesn't like silver. I don't like senior. Offering people easier access to doctors, hospitals, and prescription drugs. But access to a good Medicare Advantage plan relies heavily on where a person lives, a new study has found. What this means is that Medicare beneficiaries living in counties with greater social disadvantages have fewer opportunities to choose highly rated Medicare Advantage plans that could be delivering high quality care. So another researcher, this guy's name is Gupta. He's a recent doctoral graduate of health policy and management from the New York University School of Global Public Health. He says to help consumers compare the plans, the U.S. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services provides a 5-star rating system that calculates scores based on nearly 40 indicators. Star ratings are meant to capture the performance of Medicare Advantage plans in past years, with better ratings demonstrating higher quality care in areas such as chronic care management, screenings, vaccinations, and other preventive services, timely appointments, care coordination, customer service, and handling appeals. The ratings also determine bonuses and rebate payments that insurance companies receive from CMS, from the government. Larger payments to higher rated plans can translate into better benefits for the participants, the members of the plans. For the study, researchers mapped out the availability of Medicare Advantage plans in over 3,000 counties. They compared the plans against each other, each county's poverty, unemployment, education, disability, housing, transportation access, and racial and ethnic makeup. They found that Medicare Advantage plans in the most disadvantaged counties were less likely to have 4.5 stars or higher and more likely to have ratings of 3.5 stars or lower. Our findings imply that participants in plans who might gain the most from supplemental benefits may only be able to choose from plans that are least likely to have the financial resources to provide these benefits, given that the lower star ratings translate into lower bonuses and rebates to insurance plans. What this means for you? People interested in Medicare Advantage should look very closely at the plans available in the county where they live to make sure that good offerings are available. So, obviously, what we're learning here is that Medicare Advantage plans are not designed to provide the super duper benefits in rural and poor areas that they are promising to provide in wealthy and in urban areas. Well, that's the takeaway from this article of our Medicare Advantage Minute. I want to go back to our Wikipedia page about Medicare because that thing is like 150 pages long, and if we don't whittle away at it, we're not going to finish it. So today we're going to initiate a segment of the Wikipedia page for Medicare entitled Provider Participation. There are 2 ways for providers to be reimbursed in Medicare. Participating providers accept assignment, which means that they accept Medicare's approved rate for their services as payment, typically 80% from Medicare and 20% from the Medicare beneficiary, the Medicare participant. Some non-participating doctors do not take assignment, but they also treat Medicare enrollees and are authorized to balance bill no more than a small fixed amount above Medicare's approved rate. A minority of doctors are private contractors from a Medicare perspective, which means that they opt out of Medicare and they refuse to accept Medicare payments altogether. These doctors are required to inform patients that they would be liable for the full cost of their services out of pocket, often in advance of treatment. While the majority of providers accept Medicare assignments, 97% in some cases, and most physicians still accept at least some new Medicare patients, that number is in decline. While 80% of physicians in the Texas Medical Association accepted new Medicare patients in the year 2000, only 60% were doing so by 2012. A study published in 2012 concluded that the government relies on the recommendations of an American Medical Association advisory panel. The study, led by a certain doctor at a certain hospital and with colleagues at UCLA and the University of Illinois, shows that for services provided between 1994 and 2010, the government agreed with 87.5% of the recommendations of the committee, known as the RUC, the Relative Value Update Committee. Wow, that's pretty exciting. So we're going to leave it right there, and our next topic will be office medication reimbursement. I don't know what that's going to lead us to, but hopefully it'll be pretty exciting. And Randy wants me to break for a commercial. I think we're going to take his advice and do that right now. All righty, we had a commercial break there. I'm hoping that it was an entertaining and enlightening one, because why have commercials if we can't gain some other benefit besides just the fantastic revenue that they provide? It's pennies dripping into our Christmas party fund, and I'm pretty hopeful that by the time Christmas rolls around, we'll have enough for a bowl of wassail. I don't know what a bowl of wassail costs, but that's maybe a bowl of Guinness, and we can just dip our mugs into the bowl of Guinness, and that'll be our Christmas celebration. Anyway,
in the Air Force, they bring everybody is responsible for bringing in something to drink, and they just pour it in a big bowl, and they call that the grog bowl.
And how long do they last after starting to dip into that stuff? That's got to be hard on the old Constitution.
Not long.
that may
Not
be why
long.
the career of fighter pilots is so short. You know, the celebrating after a successful carrier landing takes it all out.
That's right.
Oh, you said Air Force, and I was thinking Navy.
Yeah, no, it's Air Force. So we'll have to talk about the grog bowl someday.
Oh, well, I was in Air Force ROTC my first year in college, and I never really got to that part of there was a class coming up for sophomores entitled the Grog Bowl, but I didn't get that far in that school. That's
Well, you missed out on a lot of good drinking then.
I want to hear all about it from you, and then I want to hear how you came to this knowledge, because I don't think you did any Air Force time, did you?
No, I didn't do any Air Force time. It's based on some good friends of ours that spent the entire career in the Air Force.
All right. Well, I'm going to be looking for that in another episode. But what I promised the audience here was to go back to our correspondence with people who are thinking about becoming my clients. And one of them is a woman who has kind of a sad story, but it's indicative of the fact that if you don't take the right actions at the right time, when eligibility is available to you, then it's going to be an unfortunate outcome, and probably an unsatisfactory outcome if you dilly-dally. So this woman wrote, "Dear Doug," her name is Sarah, and she wrote, "My name is Sarah. I am 75 years old and currently with Kaiser Permanente in Colorado, and I have Kaiser Senior Advantage Core. I have been with this insurance since age 65, so that's 10 years. I am fit and athletic and eat a healthy diet. I have no serious diseases like cancer, diabetes, or heart problems, and I take no medications. Approximately 3 years ago, I had knee replacement surgery. It has never been right, and waiting, as they suggested, has only made it worse. As a result, I got a second opinion from both Kaiser as well as from a renowned surgeon outside of Kaiser. Kaiser has offered me nothing. The other surgeon, whom I fully trust, has suggested a second surgery and is confident that this mechanical problem can be resolved. I want to get this resolved, and I want to have the surgeon outside of Kaiser redo the surgery. Therefore, I will need to leave Kaiser, as they have denied paying for this. The new surgeon accepts all major insurance companies. I'm hoping to have the surgery as soon as practicable. Can you advise me? Thank you, Sarah." So that's kind of a plaintive cry for help from a woman who had knee surgery that went bad, or at least was not successful. And I know how that works, because the content curator had knee surgery, both knees. One went very, very well. The other one took a much longer time for a full recovery. So she is pain-free today, but I'm sure that she felt kind of like a kindred spirit to Sarah, who is suffering with an improperly installed knee replacement. So I answered her. I said, "Hello, Sarah. Thank you very much for writing. I would like very much to help you improve your health insurance situation, but our success is not guaranteed. You will have to go through an underwriting process with a Medicare supplement insurance plan in order to be accepted for coverage. Attached is a health history questionnaire from United American Insurance. I selected this company because they are among the best in the business, but also their underwriting questionnaire is the least demanding. If you are able to honestly answer each of these questions in the negative, the next hurdle would be waiting until the end of this year, at which time you would be allowed to disenroll from your current plan, automatically joining Medicare Parts A and B and a Medicare supplement plan. The current rate for the plan I recommend $70 per month in Colorado. If you would like to pursue this course of action, let me know how things would look with this health questionnaire. If you have other questions or concerns, I will be happy to address them as well. Sincerely, Dougie Poo." That's not what I answered, and she said, "Hi, Doug. Thank you for responding so quickly. Looking at your survey, I can easily respond with a no to questions 1 through 16. Actually, the numbering is a little convoluted. It's from 7 through 17. And she could answer every question with a no, which is ideal, except for the very last question. Regarding question 17, I believe I can also respond with a no, but I want to make sure that is correct. Part of the questions asked if I have been medically advised to have joint replacement surgery. As you know, I have had knee replacement surgery that did not outcome. My Kaiser doctors offered no correction for this. I have seen a doctor outside of Kaiser who suggested that he could fix the problem. He would replace part of the existing prosthesis with a part that would fix the issues I have. It would be surgery. He said that if I was interested, he would do this. I would not say he advised me to do it. I plan to have him make this repair. Can I answer no to question 17? I would like to work with you on this transition out of Kaiser onto something else. A couple of questions. So Sarah had 2 questions for me. Well, number 1, can I get the new insurance prior to the end of the year, thereby having double insurance payments for a few months? And number 2, is there any way to get out of Kaiser? They have denied my request to use an outside doctor with them paying for it prior to the end of the year. Can I get out of Kaiser prior to the end of the year? Well, it's a Medicare Advantage Plan. You can only get in at certain times and you can only get out at certain times. It's like a Roach Motel. Sometimes you can get into the Medicare Advantage Plan, but you can't get out. The remainder of Sarah's second question was, I have heard they sometimes let people go as early as late September. And then she said, that's hearsay. Thank you. And she then is waiting for my response. So I said, I was hoping for a better outcome, but it doesn't look like I will be able to offer you the rapid resolution you are hoping for. Number 1, Medicare supplements supplement Medicare Parts A and B. Members of Medicare Advantage, like your Kaiser plan, do not have Medicare, so agents are not allowed to sell them Medicare supplements since there is nothing to supplement. Number 2, to answer her second question, the only way I can think of for you to escape from an Advantage plan before the end of this year would be to relocate. One who moves out of a planned service area is given an opportunity to acquire new coverage. The ideal move to make would be to Wisconsin, where a guaranteed issue Medicare MSA plan exists. That would be the solution to your dilemma. Otherwise, the end of the year is going to be the first opportunity to change plans. If your Kaiser plan, your Medicare Advantage plan with Kaiser, was withdrawn from the marketplace by Kaiser, you would be eligible for guaranteed issue with Medicare Plus, a supplement. This would happen at the end of the year, but they would announce it in plenty of time for you and I to do the paperwork for your new insurance. I am very sorry that I cannot come up with a way to relieve you of the problem you find yourself in. Even with the end of the year coming up, we will have to pass medical underwriting for a supplement plan unless one of the options I outlined above were to happen. The only other scenario is to switch from Kaiser to Medicare Parts A and B on January 1st, and you then assume the 20% coinsurance for the surgical procedure. This option might be refused by the surgical facility because of the unlimited nature of the liability if something bad were to happen. Please let me know if you find a solution I have not been able to offer. I will be hoping for the best for you. Sincerely, and that's signed by me. And then she sent me a plaintiff, thank you for trying. So what happened was that she enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan and went along for 10 years, supremely healthy and problem-free until she had a routine knee replacement. And I'm sure she thought that the treatment she got at Kaiser Hospital, wherever she went in Colorado, would be performed in a workmanlike manner, but she found that her knee replacement was substandard and that no Kaiser doctor was willing to fix it for her on Kaiser's dime. And so when she went outside looking for a way to correct it, she found a surgeon who could and would correct the problem for her, but Kaiser's not admitting any liability, and this doctor won't do it without getting paid. This is what people do for a living. When they perform their jobs, they expect to get paid what they're worth. And so this woman came to me looking for a magical way to change from the what I call inferior Medicare Advantage plan that she has from Kaiser that will not help her with her poorly done knee replacement to a Medicare supplement plan with regular Medicare that would then step up and pay the cost of fixing her knee problem. And it's just a sad story that I wish I didn't have to share with the audience. I wish there were a happy ending for that. And we're now looking at another more interesting piece of correspondence I have from a gentleman who wrote me. He lives in Garland, Texas. And I'm not going to give you his last name, but he refers to himself with the honorific Commodore. And so he wrote, Mr. Jones, I have been on Medicare by way of disability since 2016. And in all that time, the state of Texas took care of things, and my parts A, B, and D were all handled nicely by United Healthcare and Silver Scripts. Plus, I never paid them anything. I didn't make my monthly payments for these plans because I was told the state of Texas was covering it. And then this past December, I started receiving notices from a company called WellCare that I was going to be joining them as my coverage. And then came the letters that I was no longer on my previous plans, and then came a notification that I had to pay $600 up front or give them unfettered access to my checking account, or I wouldn't have any insurance at all. In all that time, I never got a letter from Medicare or the state indicating anything until the end of January, when I finally got a letter from Medicare about the change. After a year's worth of dealing with WellCare, I have come to the opinion that they suck really badly. Simple doctor's appointments are argued and questioned routinely, and their prescription coverage is non-existent. I get better prices on every single one of my medications when the cashier scans the junk savings card kept next to the checkout. I do not want another year of this nonsense. Admittedly, I have never used the Obamacare-based website for Medicare. As an IT professional, I have read the code for that site, and it leaks data like water from a colander. Not that it helps any when every single other government-based site was equally leaky and has been leaky since 2019. Solar winds. Even though we're not likely to get the full truth about that either. In any event, I don't trust the system. I don't know what I have available for assistance, and I'm looking for a guide in all of this. In other words, can I get some help, please? Sincerely, Commodore. Well, he's got a problem too, because the state of Texas stuck him into a Medicare Advantage plan, and he has waited too long to get out. Had he taken action, or had he contacted me immediately when the change was made, when his plan was taken away from him, then I would have been able to get him into a high-quality Medicare supplement plan, even though he's under age 65, and he would not have the same problems he's complaining about today. So I answered him by saying, Commodore, I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to help out if that's possible. My first question, are you anywhere near your 65th birthday? Because at age 65, it's like a whole brand new deal. People who have been in Medicare prior to age 65 because they were disabled are able to wipe the slate clean and enroll in the plan of their choice without any medical underwriting near their 65th birthday. So he answered, Doug, I am 57 years old this year, and so still 8 years away from 65th birthday. And then I said, next step, if there is an opportunity to improve your health insurance coverage, it will likely depend on medical underwriting. You have passed the period of time during which Medicare supplement plans would be available to you on a guaranteed issue basis. As an aside, I am sure you know that your 65th birthday will offer you another opportunity. Anyway, I've attached the most benign health questionnaire I can find, the one from United American Insurance. If you can give a good, solid no answer to all of the questions from 7 to 17, we can move on to the next step. And if that can't be done, I'm afraid that our next opportunity to accomplish your goal will start in July of the year that you turn 65. If you change your residence address, and your new location is outside of the current plan service area, or the current plan ceases to be available, we will also have an opportunity to do what you would like. And so he responded to me that all his answers to every one of the questions on the questionnaire was no, meaning he could pass medical underwriting. So then I went to the company and I found out that the premium for a 57-year-old for a Medicare supplement plan is going to be higher than it would be, much, much, much higher than it would be for a person over age 65, because they know that somebody disabled under age 65 is likely to have claim expenses, so they price accordingly. In this case, the price would be $348 a month. So I wrote the Commodore back and I said I contacted two different companies to find out what your medical premium would be for a Medicare supplement. And I said the price is $348 a month. The other company, Mutual of Omaha, would have charged $410 a month. I said, does $348 a month fit with your budget? And I haven't heard back from him. And I don't expect that I will, because the Commodore did not take advantage of the opportunity. And it's not really his fault, because nobody probably told him that he could have any plan he wanted if his plan was taken away. I think that applies to under 65. I know if he were 65 or older and they took away his plan, like they did for him in December of last year, that he would no question have the unfettered right to get a new plan without any medical underwriting at all. And once again, I have chewed up a whole episode just in dealing with the correspondence from our wannabe clientele, and it's time to close it out, I guess, Randy.
It is. Well, you know what drives it, don't you?
I'm
What
afraid to
drives
ask.
us, what drives us to close is the quarter machine is empty. We have only 75 cents per episode to pay for our airtime. So when that runs out, it's out. But there's a few things that if I go through real quickly, we can cover before we go ahead and sign off. Get your pen. You can write to Doug at dbj@mlmmailbag.com with any questions that you may have. Don't forget, Doug is licensed nationwide in every state of the union and then some to help you with your Medicare supplement planning. Check us out at the website, medicareforthelazyman.com. We would also appreciate it if you, in your wanderings through the wilds of the internet, drop a review for us. We're coming in on the end of the year, and we're still trying to keep our head above and ahead of the travel logs. I know that sounds like a crazy idea, but we've done it in the past, and I want to do it again this year. Last but certainly not least, thank you for joining us. You could have been anywhere else doing anything else, and you weren't. You were with us with Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast, which is exactly where we like to have you. But if you weren't looking at your watch, you have just spent about 32 and a half minutes with Doug Jones, the anti-insurance guy, originally from Oklahoma. No more. He's camped out in Illinois in the low ground, and he's telling me that very soon he's going to start heading west so I can have a drinking buddy back here in Arizona in Cave Creek. Is that true, Doug?
That is true. That is the plan. I'm going to be heading your direction before you know it. The thing that's going to scare me away, though, is that creepy guy behind you. I'm hoping that he isn't going to be hanging around when. But anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I thoroughly enjoyed having you join us today, and I hope you come back for our next episode. Bye-bye.